quite difficult to manage sickle cell pain or crises at work because the crises are unexpected or unpredictable. It's also hard to give your employer notice beforehand, and in some occasions you do just have to be open with your employer and say, this has happened, I've become unwell overnight, I don't know when I'll be able to return back to work. And hopefully your employer is understanding and is able to put in place accommodation adjustments for those situations. But the onus really is on you as an employee to try and take reasonable steps to manage your workload and make sure that if you are out of work for however long, then people are able to step in and pick up where you've left off. So things such as making sure that all my work is accessible by other colleagues when I'm out of the office, making sure that all my files are up to date should someone need to step in and keep them going for me. So I've learned over the years to try and take a lot of that responsibility on. Whilst I can't stop myself from going into crisis, there are things that I can put into place as fallback positions.
Managing like my crisis, if I'm in pain while I'm at work, it's kind of like stressful, and it kind of adds like a lot of pressure to me and the whole situation, because sometimes if it's like if the crisis is really bad, then there's just no choice. I just can't go to work and call the ambulance and I go to hospital. And sometimes I prefer it to be like that, because then I don't have to weigh up. The decision in my head is, okay, can I go into work and get through it, and then after work go to A&E.
So when I was in London, it was always out of office hours, but there was a time when I was at uni and I was doing my work placement there, I actually worked in a hospital, which was kind of ironic, but there was one occasion, I think I'd been there like a month or two, and pretty soon after I'd got to work, I started having like really bad back pains, and I always carry my painkillers on me, so I took them all and they just weren't working, and I couldn't sit on my chair. I was kind of like sat on the edge of the desk, like holding my back and just like trying to make it comfortable. And then it got to a point where it wasn't easing, so I thought I have to go home. So I told my manager, and he was fine with it, so he let me go home.
As an entrepreneur with Sickle Cell, you already know our timing doesn't work quite like everyone. But I think what I've always been good at is planning. I plan. I still use books. I use any apps I can to make sure I break down things, because I know my time is not going to be the same as everyone. When I was doing the launching of my foundation, I knew that I had limited time, and within this time I also might be sick. So I made sure that I got things done in advance. I was able to delegate tasks to volunteers, and just used all the resources I had. And I think technology now has made things so much better than a few years ago, because before, when I'm not able to go to a meeting, like, oh my god, I've missed. But now I'm able to have meetings even at a hospital. I can do conference calls, I can do video calls and still be able to get things done.
One of the things I found most difficult about a career in law is the hours are quite long and can be demanding, and especially at a junior level, you don't have much control over that. So it plays a big part in how well I am, and can and has at times led to sickle cell crises. Again, I think over the years, experience has taught me that I really have to take ownership for those situations and learn to better foresee situations like that, and kind of manage my time better and manage my health better to try and avoid those situations occurring in the first place.
Well, how I cope with it, I think mainly is utilising my weekends. So, taking the time to rest and partaking some exercise over the weekends.
Like, I'm tired all the time anyway because of my sickle cell, but if there's days at work where it's been really pressurised or it's been really busy on the wards, then I go home and I do feel it. Like, I can feel that amount of tiredness is going to impact and cause me pain later down in the week, compared to days where there's been less stress at work. So for example, when it's Christmas time in NHS, it's very stressful, and there's lots of patients because it's winter, and I do find then that my condition is a bit more active, and I do get sicker a lot. Whereas in the summer, it's a lot different because it's not as pressurized, and I've got the time to, like, it's still light outside when you finish work, so I've got the time to go home, de-stress, get a good night's rest, and you don't really get that in the winter. So I definitely think that tiredness and fatigue does impact my condition and how I am at work.
There's been times where I've gone to work in pain, but it's been controlled with the painkillers, and I've just kept them topped up throughout the day. And I've always gone in because I don't want to let them down. I feel so guilty, so I've always, if I can, I will go in, like make that special effort to go in, even though I'm in pain and I shouldn't be going outside, getting on public transport, making my way to work, and then facing the journey home. I shouldn't be doing that, but I've always done it. So like the only times when I've been off really are when I'm in hospital. Otherwise I will always go into work, just because I don't want to be that person, and I don't want to be known for being off all the time. It's not a nice feeling. Yeah, I don't want sickle cell to stop me from living my life at all. So when it lets me, I will carry on doing what I want to do, what I need to do. Without a doubt. If I didn't have sickle cell, the sky's the limit, honestly. I don't know what I would be doing, but I know it wouldn't be what I'm doing now. I'd probably still be living in London, working in London. I'd like to think that I'd be climbing my way up the career ladder. That's when I was still like in school and wasn't really affected by the sickle cell. That's what I saw myself doing. Saw myself climbing the career ladder and becoming, like, I don't know, some kind of businesswoman. And so if my health would have stayed like that, or if I didn't have sickle cell at all, that is what I'd like to think I would be doing now.